After cycling 3,689 kilometres through Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand, we made it to Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is the largest city in the north of Thailand. It is surrounded by mountains, some of which we now know intimately. Chiang Mai is famous for its food, and for good reason. After spending the last few weeks in remote and rural Thailand, we experienced some culture shock by being in a city which had everything you could imagine. Chiang Mai was an opportunity for us to rest, recover and socialise with friends we had made along the way. As our arrival coincided with the annual Yi Pen and Loi Krathong festivals, there were a number of people we knew that would be in Chiang Mai at the same time as us. We wanted to spend time with them all, so we decided to stay in Chiang Mai for 2 weeks.
1, 2, and
3. You may remember Jonas and Vroni from our previous episode. We bumped into them briefly on our way to Pai, and we had arranged to meet up for the annual Lantern Festival.
Every direction is a symbol of how man maintains his world under royal protection. Loi Krathong, or Ahlbom, happiness, peace, love, and wisdom, represents the abundance.
There were downsides to being in Chiang Mai at such a busy time, and the crowds were unbearable at times. But still, it was a special time to be in Chiang Mai, and it was an experience that will stay with us forever. Sometimes you meet somebody in life that makes an instant impression. You usually meet these types of people when you least expect it. Sharck is one of these people. Scott quit his job to go on a 5-year around-the-world cycle journey after spending most of his working life as a respiratory therapist. Only a few years ago, Scott suffered a stroke. Fortunately, Scott survived, but the incident left a lasting impact, mainly on his outlook and his thoughts on how he wants to live the rest of his life. Scott is a fantastic photographer. He earns a decent living from his photography work, which allows him to reinvest that money into his camera equipment and cycle journey. After spending almost 2 weeks with Scott, having countless inspiring and thoughtful conversations, I decided I would buy a helmet. He never told me to buy one. As you could guess, I'm too stubborn to be told to do anything. He just told me about his experiences of working in an intensive care unit in the United States. This is time to say farewell.
2 weeks.
It genuinely has been a really good 2 weeks.
Good to meet you.
And you. It's been an absolute
you.
pleasure.
Go for the hug.
I feel left out.
We'll see each other
I feel left
online.
out.
Okay.
So we've just said goodbye to Scott Sharck.
Hey, saying goodbye.
It's one of the things that you have to do on a bike trip all the time, is say goodbye to people. We've probably said 100 goodbyes, but that one was a particularly difficult one.
Just had such a good connection with Scott. He's such a great guy, and we've both well, all of us have got really similar interests and obviously cycling around, so we've learnt a lot from him. He's a fantastic photographer and really enjoyed going out for dinner with him every night. Just such an awesome guy.
Morning.
Good morning.
We have made a decision which we love doing. We love springing these surprise decisions on ourselves and everybody else. So what we're doing, Lucia?
We have decided to head to the Chinese embassy to try and get a Chinese visa.
Applying for a Chinese visa is highly unpredictable, particularly how long we get. The longer we get, the better. We've fully made an itinerary for 60 days. Hopefully we'll get 60 days.
Fingers crossed. If we get 60 days, we can renew once in the country for another 30 days, which would give us 90 days, which would hopefully be able to cycle across China in 90 days. But we'll see.
Right,
Oh.
update from the Chinese visa situation in Chiang Mai. How did it go?
It was a success!
Well, define
Kind of.
success.
So, they wouldn't accept any longer than 30 days. They said 30 days is the maximum. You can extend them once in country, so then we'll have 60 days.
China's huge. 60 days still isn't really enough to touch the surface. We've got plenty of options. We've now got to decide which way do we go through China. Loads of options. 60 days, we probably will need to get a train at some point, unless we go to Hong Kong, cycle to Hong Kong and then reapply for another visa in Hong Kong, having already had a Chinese visa. That might work, it may not. We're not too sure yet. So, success. A few more days in Chiang Mai. Now we need to get our bikes back from the bike shop. Yeah. So we've got our bicycles back. Here they are. Fixed up by Triple Cats. If you ever need any bicycle maintenance done in Chiang Mai, this is the genius.
You have to come in to the shop.
He has absolutely everything you'll need. All the Surly and alt lube, and he knows how to fix a bike, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate that. Bambrick used to love cycling around with a tyre around his shoulder. But we just changed our tyres, so I thought I'd keep this one as a spare for when we need to change another one. But right, back on the road. Right.
After 2 weeks in Chiang Mai, it feels good to be back on the bikes. We are now heading to Chiang Rai and then on to Laos. Chiang Mai was possibly our favourite destination of the journey so far. It was not because of the amazing food, beautiful architecture and temples, or the crazy lantern festival. It was our favourite destination because of the people we spent time with and the friendships we made. So long, Chiang Mai. We will be back one day, that's for sure. If you enjoyed this episode, you can keep up to date with our journey by subscribing to our channel. It would be awesome to have you along for the ride.